Hello everyone, it's Brandon, creator of Happily Dressed, a sewing resource dedicated to self-acceptance, self-confidence, and self-sufficiency, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm showing you all how to sew a pair of wrap pants. The pattern you need to do this will be down in the description below. There are 3 views to this pattern. There's view A, which is the easiest and simplest and very beginner friendly. There's view B, which we're doing today, which includes a button fly and pockets, and then view C is just the pockets. The Noella wrap trousers are my 3rd sewing pattern. So excited to have it out for you all and to do this tutorial. All the different sewing notions you'll see me use throughout this video will be linked down below. And for all my first time sewers out there, view A is your best bet at creating something that you'll enjoy, and that will be really easy for you. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So we're gonna start with assembling our pattern pieces. I've already put together my front, back, and waistband, but for those doing view B, which is what we'll be sewing today, I'm gonna show you the best way to tape all of your pattern pieces together. I'll be using a paper cutter, but you can also use a rotary cutter and a ruler. But basically what you wanna do is cut off the right and bottom side of all of your pattern pieces. What's really cool too is because my printer prints everything backwards, so I have like 7 through 1. Once you cut the right and bottom of every pattern piece, then they'll be in order 1 through 7. So I like that because it kind of prints it out in the order in which you need to cut, and then once you cut, it's already stacked in the order in which you need to tape. You can always double check the scale of your printer to make sure that you printed everything out correctly by using these measurement squares that come with the printout. And now, like puzzle pieces, we'll slide and tape everything together, matching our arrows. And I like to tape over solid lines first and then fill in the rest, so that way I know when I cut out this pattern piece, it won't come apart on the edges. And now we'll just cut everything out. I'm using my rotary cutter and my cutting mat that's on this table. And also all the tools that I'm using in this video will be linked down below in the description. So once you're done, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pattern pieces if you're doing view B, 4 pattern pieces if you're doing view C, and then 3 pattern pieces if you're doing view A. But you can put your pattern pieces to the side because now we're gonna get our fabric on the table so we can cut out these pattern pieces in the fabric. Today I'm using this very beautiful like camel suiting fabric. It's pretty lightweight. I would give it the category of a mid-weight actually, but I got it from Joann Fabric. And truly I got it because it matched the color of the illustrations perfectly. But there are cutting guides in the instructions, especially as you go up in size, how to cut these pattern pieces out with the fabric unfolded. Okay, cool, so there is enough room for me to cut this out with the fabric folded, but if there's not, don't worry, you can still cut these out with the fabric unfolded. Refer to the cutting guide in the instructions. And don't forget, some of your pattern pieces need interfacing, so we're gonna cut that out as well. If you're just doing view A, which is the easiest version of this pattern, the only thing that needs interfacing is the waistband, and that's optional. But if you do, there is an interfacing guide on page 8 on the before you sew page. I'm sewing up the medium, so the interfacing for my waistband will be 3 inches by 16 inches. And that's just to give the parts that sit on your front and back waist a little more structure while still allowing the ties to be as flexible as possible. But if you're doing B or C, your pocket facing needs to be interfaced, and if you're doing just B, your pocket facing, fly facing, and fly shield, all 3 need to be interfaced. So if you're doing view B or C, we're actually going to start with interfacing the pocket facings. So you want to make sure you take your interfacing glue side down and then wrong side of your pocket facing up. You want to match those together, and we're going to press that in place, making sure not to push. We just lift up and set down so we don't push any glue anywhere. And one more time, that's with wrong side of the fabric up and glue side of the interfacing down. So now what we're gonna do is go over to my serger and serge the outside edge of this pocket facing, or you can finish it with bias tape. Now once you've serged or finished your edges with bias tape, now what we're gonna do is press those same edges towards the inside 1/2 inch. I'm using my trusty heat ruler to do this. I love this thing and use it pretty often. Like I said in the beginning, all the tools used for this tutorial will be linked down below in the description. But this is what your facing piece should look like once you're done. So now I'll take my pocket pieces. You want the right sides of your fabric pieces facing up. And what you're gonna do next is connect the right sides of your facing pieces to your pocket. Once you do that, you're gonna pin it in place. I'll do the same here. I'll take the right side of my pocket facing and line it up with the right side of my pocket, pin it in place. And what we're gonna do now for both pieces is starting from the top, we're gonna sew all the way around at 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way up to the top. So we're gonna leave the top part open on both pockets, but we're gonna sew around the whole perimeter at 1/2 inch up into the pocket at 1/2 inch all the way till we get up to the top. So once your pattern pieces are sewn, they should look something like this. I'm gonna go over to my serger and go ahead and serge this outside edge here and then come back and show you what to do. So now before we take these to the iron, you're gonna wanna add a few relief notches in. I put one right here in the divot of the pocket so that way when we press it, it can go in easier. Making sure not to cut into my stitch line, but just close enough to give some relief. And then also here in the curves, I like to cut a few relief notches so I could press this curve appropriately. And also you should definitely serge this side as well. It'll get rid of this little hang tag. I just completely forgot about it. So I'm gonna go serge that and then come back. So now before I turn this pocket facing right side out and towards the back, I'm going to press open my seam allowance so I can get a better and more even turn. And now I should be able to turn it towards the back so we can start seeing that pocket opening come to life. I'm gonna use my point turner to get this corner nice and sharp. And I'm gonna press this down and in place to basically heat seal it. And then use that stitching line that we made across the whole pocket to help press in the rest of my seam allowance. And the iron is your best friend, so use as much steam and heat as your fabric can handle. And then you'll see here as well that our relief notches will help us with the curves. And so now when we turn this right side up, you should see your pocket coming into form. I'm gonna give it one more press. And now I'm gonna go over to my sewing machine and top stitch that flap down from the right side, but we'll be catching the edge of the front as we sew with just a single stitch, sewing that in place. Next, I use the markings on my front pattern piece to place my pockets and pin them in place. Once they were pinned, I took them over to my sewing machine and closed it with a straight stitch. Once that was done, I took my two front pieces over to my iron to fold the edges in at 1/4 inch once, press it in place, and then fold it over 1/4 inch one more time and press that in place. Once I pressed the edges of both my fronts, I took it over to my sewing machine and sewed it down with a straight stitch. Next, I serged both the fly edges of my two front pieces and then got ready to sew them together by laying them on top of each other, right sides facing, and using the dot on my front pattern piece to notate where to start sewing. After my two fronts were combined, I went ahead and interfaced my fly facing and also my fly shield, making sure I was putting the glue side to the wrong side of the fabric, and then I serged the two edges of my fly facing. And with right sides facing, I placed my fly facing onto my front and pinned it in place. Then I sewed it down at 1/2 inch seam allowance. After that, I just used my iron to press the seam open so it's easier to flip towards the back. And then I flipped my fly facing towards the back and pressed that down as well. Once I had a nice crisp edge, I went ahead and flipped the pant right side up and pinned the facing from the front so I could top stitch it down. After that was completed, I went ahead and pressed my fly shield together wrong sides facing so I could sew the bottom at 1/2 inch seam allowance. Once that was sewn, I went ahead and clipped my corners and flipped it right side out, gave it a press, and serged the raw edge. Then I took it back over to my front pieces and pinned it in place to be sewn down at 1/2 inch seam allowance. And after that was sewn and pressed, I used the buttonhole guide to mark the start of my buttonholes, and I used my heat erasable pen to help me with this. Once they were marked, I used the buttonhole function on my domestic machine to sew in all my buttonholes based on the buttons that I chose. Then I used some fray check to make sure that my buttonholes won't fray, and while I waited for that to dry, I went ahead and started on my waistband and sewed them together right sides facing at the end. Once that was sewn, I went ahead and pressed that seam open, grabbed my interfacing that I cut out, and went ahead and pressed that in place, centered in the middle. And after that, I went ahead and used my heat ruler to help me press in both sides by 1/2 inch. And once both sides were pressed in by 1/2 inch, I pressed the waistband in half using my iron and as much steam as I needed. But after that, that was enough time for my fray check to dry, and I used a pen and my seam ripper to open up all my buttonholes, and then used my heat erasable pen to mark the button placements, and then switch back to my domestic machine to sew in my buttons. And once that was completed, I went ahead and closed my front completely so I can attach the waistband we just ironed to the front. So now I'm just opening up that 1/2 inch seam allowance that we pressed to use as a sewing line as I pin it right sides facing and sew it down to the front. This part is where it gets a little tricky, but to close the waistband, what we're going to do with both edges is turn them in right sides facing and sew them shut at 1/2 inch seam allowance. And once it's sewn, I flip it right side out, and then I'm able to top stitch the waistband down from start to finish. And you're also welcome to use pins at this part to make sure everything's pinned in place and doesn't move. Moving on to the back, I took my two back pieces and put them together right sides facing so I could sew them down at 1/2 inch seam allowance from top to bottom. Once that was sewn, I went ahead and serged it as well and opened up the completed back so I can get ready to attach my waistband. But before that, just like we did the front, I went ahead and folded in both ends of my completed backs by 1/4 inch and then 1/4 inch again, and sew that in place with a straight stitch. And now I can move on to the waistband, where just like we did with the front, we'll sew our two waistband pieces together, right sides facing, open it up, add our interfacing, and then press each end in by 1/2 inch, and then fold it in half. And now with right sides facing, I'm attaching that waistband using that 1/2 inch seam allowance that we pressed open as a sewing guide. And over at the machine, I just sewed it down at 1/2 inch seam allowance. Once that was done, I did the same to both ends of the waistband that I did with the front, folded it together right sides facing, sewed it down at 1/2 inch seam allowance, and then flipped it back right side out so I was able to close and top stitch the back waistband down completely. So now that I have my completed front with waistband and completed back with waistband, I placed them together right sides facing so I could sew the inseam of this garment. First by pinning at the crotch seam, making sure that that was aligned, and then pinning the rest of the pant leg together and sewing it at 1/2 inch seam allowance. Once that was completed, I serged the seam as well so it wouldn't fray, and moved on to hemming the pant. To hem the pant legs of this garment and fold it in just like we did the sides at 1/4 inch first, give it a press, and then fold it 1/4 inch one more time to hide the raw edges and sew that down with a straight stitch. And after that, your Noella wrap trousers are completed. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. I really love how simple this pattern is, no matter what view you choose. I'm such a big fan of the fact that it has pockets as well. I feel like that's a quality that I just appreciate so much about pants, is that they have good working pockets. And it was nice to add the buttonfly pockets for fellas to go to the bathroom if you need to, without having to take the whole thing off. I think that's something that I ran into a lot with wrap pant patterns in the past. But anyway, if you make the Noella wrap trousers for yourself, please let me know by tagging me on Instagram and using the hashtag Noella wrap trouser. And I hope to see you all in my next video.